What's going on, guys? I'm back with another one, and I just watched a movie called Duel, starring Karen Gillan, Aaron Paul, and Beulah Kowalik. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna try. First of all, let's talk about clones in film, all right? Or the usage of. I have two good examples of what you should do, and then two good examples of what you should not do ever in life. In 1996, Multiplicity came out. All right, this had Michael Keaton in it. All right, very funny, hilarious comedy. All right, he had different clones to do very different things in every aspect of his life. Okay, my favorite clone was the stupid one, which was the first one they made. Okay, just a very childlike character, in my opinion. This is the way you should do a clone comedy, especially one that's not that dark. All right. Then in 1997, Aliens Resurrection came out. Now, what got me about this was the specific scene where Ripley walks in and she sees all these several attempts to clone her before, and they're all begging her to kill them. Well, one is in particular, but you can see the disfigurement, the pain that they're in. They're in agony, and then she gives them their wish, and she burns down the laboratory. That was such a powerful scene in the movie. It really met the criteria of what you want to see in a sci-fi that involves cloning. All right. Then on down the line, throughout the years, there were other movies about cloning and whatnot, but they weren't that great. There weren't nothing to shake a foot at. Maybe Resident Evil, but that had questionable, thoughts about it being a good video game movie. We'll get into that another time. But then in 2019, Us came out. This was the second movie that Jordan Peele put out on his own, trying to get those deep points again, like he did with Get Out. Didn't quite hit the mark, and there were clones involved of the entire family. Interesting, but just not good enough to catch my attention. Like, oh my God, this is brilliant. It wasn't that brilliant at all. Very bad. Matter of fact, kind of just shouldn't have wasted his time. Then, in the same year, we get Gemini Man, starring Will Smith. I have to say one of his worst movies ever. All right, they clone a younger version of this guy to come after him, the older version. This could have went so well. The concept was fresh, it was creative, but it just was not done right. It was just the CGI was trash. I know it was the first time they were trying to use something that has been used on a lot of stuff, but he didn't do what I think he was trying to do. And it was just sad. It was something sad to watch Will Smith go through this. It was the beginning of his downfall. Nah, I said it. The beginning. All right? So that's not how you do it. And then, of course, there were other movies after this, which I still haven't laid an eye on yet. And now we have Duel. So my question is, will it be like the first two examples or the second two examples? We're about to find out. Let's go. Duel. For those who don't know, for those who are not aware, if you don't know about Duel by now, I'm not going to pull your leg, man. This movie came out early in January. Okay? Usually I don't go that far back to do reviews on movies unless it's requested to me. All right, but I couldn't find anything at the time. Several of the programs that I've subscribed to are not subscribed to anymore. All right? So I had to get what I could. And so I don't blame you if you don't know about this. Because if you didn't know about this within 3 months from now, you don't know. You have no idea. All right? Duel. It's pretty much about this very, very sad individual named Sarah, who, through a drinking binge, comes upon a little illness where she spits up blood half the time. And so she goes to the doctor to see what's going on with that, of course. And they don't know what to tell her yet, other than it might be fatal. That information was kind of iffy, all right? So in the process of this, her thinking that she's gonna die probably, she goes to this little program, or they advise her to get a clone. What year is this? They advise her to get a clone of herself to take over her life for when she dies. All right? And when she goes back to the doctor to confront and do a checkup or whatever, they tell her, oops, we made a mistake. You're not gonna die. All right? She's like, oh, I have a clone though. Well, now you have to go fight to the death with your own clone, because we can't have two of you running around here. And that's the premise of the movie. Positives. You know, if you know me by now, one of my favorite genres, or used to be favorite genre, was comedy. All right, death to comedy right now in movies, it's very sad. But I used to love comedy so much, especially awkward comedy. So when this came out and I started watching this, I started to immediately notice the deadpan, the dry humor, the straight to it, the robotic, but in this case, robotical acting worked. There's a little bit of another side to that with Karen Gillan. I'll get to that a little later on though. But for the most part, this really reminded me of Art of Self-Defense. And so I looked it up, and yes, the same guy directed this movie as the other one, and he happened to direct like two other movies, full movies, and then two other shorts, which are very good. So the guy's name will be at the bottom of the screen, can't remember right now, but he's somebody to watch out for. Honestly, I just love that dry, awkward humor, that the long pauses and the weird stuff the weird quotes and stuff that they say, and things that not normal people would not do throughout their life. This movie did it. Okay. Another positive. This movie, it had a way that it treated the main character. Every character in this movie treated Sarah so badly. They just disrespected her throughout the movie. First, you have her husband just starts to grow distant from her. He won't tell her why, but I'm sure anybody in their right mind could see that something was wrong with the way he was treating her. All right, and then, the doctor just fails to even tell her what was going on at first with her, and tells the boyfriend, I'm sorry, not husband, the boyfriend instead. And he comes back and he's like, man, you need to get this checked out. You're dying, and it's the thing. And then when they get the clone, they get the clone of her. Even her clone treats her bad. Her clone is disrespectful to her in every way, along with her boyfriend and everything. Taking over her whole life. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how she's treated. And the reason I like this is because it's not really showing how bad of a person she is, which she has her faults, but it's really showing how bad everybody else is, how despicable everybody else is in this movie. They're pieces of crap. They are pieces of crap, okay? All right? Yeah, she's not perfect, but come on, man. Your own mother, it's so crazy. It's such a reflection on who she's dealing with, to be honest with you. Another positive, the conflict between the original and the double. All right, from the get-go, the tape that she watches for this, it tells her that these clones are not going to be. They're going to mimic you. to mimic your moves and how you act in your ways. All right, just to fool everybody. But over time, they can possibly become a whole other person. All right, and her clone definitely did that quickly, with no time wasted. She became a whole other person from this girl. Maybe in somebody's eye view, a better person. Maybe, and in a lot of ways, a whole lot of ways that I'm not even gonna mention on here, that you can just guess. All right, and so it was she rubs it in her face, and that's where the conflict starts, because she's trying to keep this. The original was trying to keep this down in her heart, because she doesn't want to just lash out. But the more she rubs it in her face, it's just ridiculous, and the anger builds up, and you know they gotta fight at the end. They gotta fight to the death at the end. So this is all fuel for her anger, and it's interesting to watch that, and funny at the same time. Because the disrespect, man. Another positive about this, and my last positive, the creativity put into this film was just mind-blowing. All right, just to think of something like this, where you find an illness within yourself, and then you go to the doctor, and you come back, and now you have a clone. You did not expect to go to the doctor and have a clone coming back, and then they make a mistake. That money you spent for this clone, you're not even gonna see this clone half the time, because you're gonna be dead. It's just to think about this, the idea of somebody going through this. it could possibly break somebody's spirit. If their spirit's not already broken, your spirit's gonna be broken after going through something like that. And for them to just put that on screen the way they did is just, man, that's crazy. I've never seen a movie done like this. Of course, there's been a lot of clone movies, but not in this fashion and manner, the way this is done. Of course, that guy again from The Art of Self-Defense. Who else would do this? Who else would do that? Negatives. This movie did something that I have never done with this actress before. It made me question Karen Gillan's acting skills. All right, honestly, she played Nebula on, Galaxy, the Galaxy movie. You know what I'm talking about. And Guardians of the Galaxy. Yes, Guardians of the Galaxy. And her acting on there was very dry and to the point and robotical. And I'm sure that was for a purpose, a reason, right? That was a reason behind that. But it's the same in here. I understand in this one, there's also a reason for that. Because it's a dry sense of humor type of thing. It's a very awkward movie. So I understand that. But any other movie I've seen her in, she really does not push through with her acting chops. And these are the two best examples I have, besides Jumanji, and she didn't do much in that movie. She didn't do much besides action. All right, so I really still have no idea, unless I go back and watch Oculus, how good of an actress she is. I'm a little on the fence with whether she's a good actress or not. I'm not impressed yet. Karen Gillan, I'm sorry, but I am not impressed yet. All right, you got to do more than that. Another positive. I was confused about her illness in this movie. All right, she had an illness where she was spitting up blood, and then supposedly her whole body was going to just deteriorate and rupture from the inside without her feeling any pain, right? But then she went to readmission or whatever you call that. She went into that all of a sudden. That's where the whole mistake went, right? There's a certain scene at the end, or towards the end, where something happens where it makes me think, okay, either this happened or that something else came back. The illness, something came back. And what's going on here? I was confused. This is towards the end, not the end. It's towards the end. It doesn't say anything. It's just, I was confused about certain things that were happening. All right, and what was this illness? What is this? Is this real or is this movie trying to be funny? I was totally in the sky, the dark about this. I don't know what was going on with that scene or what was happening, but all that threw me off. That completely threw me off. I might look this up later on to see if this is a real thing. But I don't think spitting up blood just goes away. Alright? Not like that. Jesus. My last negative about this. I didn't quite think that this was going to end the way it ended. Now, I know from the first movie, the way that ended, I'm not going to say anything, you never expect it. You never expect it. And that's the same thing they did with this, but when they actually put you that non-expected ending on it, I was like, that's it? That's what you're going to do? Clever, a little, but at the same time, come on, give me something I didn't think was gonna. Give me something totally shocking. Besides that, throw a curveball to me, because I was kind of guessing that this might happen. I had a guess that might happen, and it kind of did. I kind of see where that was going. All right, predictable, too predictable, and for that reason, I gotta give this a hell yes. I'm still giving this a hell yes. This guy has done it again. This guy has done it again. Maybe in the future we can do something on him. All right, we can do it first of all on this guy because he's knocking it out the park right now. All right, press that like button, share this, and you better subscribe.